Hi, this is the third of our introductory video clips to help you with the group project. And today, for this one, I'm going to talk about topic selection and some of the specific tools that you're responsible for setting up in week 3. So this really focuses specifically on some of the things you're going to do for week 3, for phase 1. As far as topic selection, what I recommend that you do, once you have your template document set up in Google Docs, is to scroll down below that template to a space that's open, that's not part of the template. And think of this as a whiteboard that has no space limitations or never needs to be erased. What I want you to do there is to use that space to brainstorm ideas. Each of you can get, and you can do this. You don't have to be together. You don't have to do this at the same time. You can just, whenever you have a chance, each of you can go into the document and add ideas, quickly add ideas. Again, what you want to make sure is that with the Google Doc, you are using the suggesting mode, not the editing mode or the viewing mode. You will see a pencil icon at the top right of the document when you log in with to your Google Doc, and you want to make sure that that is in suggesting mode at the beginning. That way, each of you will automatically have a unique color for your contributions, and assuming you are logged in, and you must make sure that you're logged in, it will identify you so that it will be easy to know who did what. I will also be looking at that as well, and that will be part of my evaluation in terms of your contributions. So use that suggesting mode. And what you're going to do is just brainstorm ideas. Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to look for a topic that is overarching and can encompass a wide range of curricular goals. Ideally, it will be, at least to some degree, cross-curricular or cross-disciplinary. It would be ideal if everyone in your group can use the project you develop in your own classroom after you're finished. However, it's likely that you're going to have to do some compromise with that and use the project so that what your group comes up with may or may not be directly applicable in your own classroom. But to the extent that we can do that, that would be great. In some of your readings, you will be reading about Apple challenge-based learning. That framework emphasizes a challenge for students to address. The key here is that students are to take action in that particular framework. And this is a really important aspect of the best possible projects. Try to come up with a problem students need to solve, a challenge they need to meet, a local, community, regional, or global need to address. Make sure that the project requires students to take some kind of action rather than simply gather information and present it. This will make the project relevant and meaningful and purposeful for them, and keep it engaging. Finally, teachers designing the projects rather than students come up with the topic. When you do that, be sure to come up with a topic that will engage their students' interests, something that they care about. When students are older and have some ample experience with project-based learning, it's not unusual for them to actually start to design or come up with a topic themselves, based upon what kind of curriculum they're working with. But for this purposes, you're obviously going to be creating the topic itself. But you want to be thinking in terms of what is going to engage students, what do they care about, what's important to them, what is relevant to them, what kinds of things can they take action that's going to be relevant and give them a real-world experience. Now, turning to some of the tools that you're going to be doing. As I said, you're going to be using the Google Doc for your template and collaboration. So the template at the top of it, you're going to be filling that in as a group together, and you'll be able to modify that and adjust it as you go along. I will, as you do that, as a result of week 3 and a result of week 4, I will be making comments on the side. Whether you were asking me to take a look before you've completed it for a particular week or at the end. I will do that as my feedback to you. So I'll be using the comment section for that. So the Google Doc will be used for collaboration and design. You will also set up a second Google Doc, and that one will be for the annotated bibliography. You're going to set that up in week 3, even though you don't have all your resources yet, obviously, at week 3. So you're going to simply put in one placeholder entry, and that should be the course textbook. And then you can take that out if you don't use it for your project. But you're going to be using the APA format, and you can do all that within the Google Doc. So for week 3, you're simply going to set that Google Doc up, make sure that everybody has editing rights to it, and also that you include me as well. And then what you're going to do is just set that one placeholder entry in for week 3. Ultimately, what will happen is that will be due as completed in week 6 when you finish your multimedia product. And any of the elements that you use can be included in that, as well as all the other resources that you've gathered and used and actually used. Not just stuff that you've found, but things that you've actually used in the course of setting up your project and your guided learning, your scaffolding learning activities, and your final product. You will also be developing a Diigo group. Some of you may be familiar with the use of Diigo as a social or as an online bookmarking tool, but you can also set up a Diigo group. So everyone will need a Diigo account, but one of you will set up a group and invite everybody else, including me, using the email address that is associated with your Diigo account. And that way you will be as you add things to that group, everyone will see it automatically. So it's a group set of bookmarks, essentially. The only thing is, of course, that doesn't allow you to do it in APA format, and it also doesn't provide for using text sources that would not be online sources. So that's why you need an annotated bibliography in addition to that. By the way, please make sure that when you invite me to your Diigo group, you use bill@daltonroad.com email address, not my Wilkes address, not my Gmail address, because only my Dalton Road address is the one that I use for Diigo. You will also then be creating a wiki space for your group. You'll be creating one wiki space. That's where you will publish everything that you do for your project work. That's really your publication space. One person will set it up and then add everyone else as an organizer. Don't add everybody else as a member. Add everybody else as an organizer so that everybody can see the settings and the full control and aspect of the wiki space, because this is a learning process as well. Make sure that you include me as an organizer as well, not simply as a member. Initially, for permissions, it can remain as private as you're doing the development work, as you're designing and setting up your unit. But in week 6, when you share this with the other groups, you'll need to then change it to protected so that the other groups will be able to view it but not edit your wiki. You also need to, in that wiki, use the discussion feature as your asynchronous group communication. I would suggest putting that on. You can either use the home page for that discussion work, but I would recommend that you set a separate page just for the discussion work. That way it keeps that separate and doesn't mess up or doesn't overwhelm the first page, the home page. You can turn on email notification within the wiki space, which is a really great feature. That way you know whenever anyone has made any changes, and you can set the notification up for particular pages, for particular discussion, or for the overall site itself. And that's the way I would recommend that you do that for that purpose. And that's it. Those are the 3 tools that you're going to need. Your wiki, your Google Doc, and your Diigo group. But remember, there's actually 2 Google Docs. One is for the design template and your brainstorming and collaboration work, and the other one is for your annotated bibliography. That's it for week 3. It's a lot of individual pieces. Again, don't worry if you don't get all your points initially. You'll be able to go back and make up those points and get everything squared away well before the end of the course. Okay? Good luck.